So I don't know what it is, but recently I've been really into viewpoints on top of waterfalls. Not really sure why. I think maybe it has something to do with I've been slightly spoiled recently in that department. But regardless, the brink of the lower falls in Yellowstone National Park is something truly special. So let's get into it. The brink of the lower falls. How do you get here? Well, within Yellowstone National Park, it's located in the Canyon Village area shortly after you jump off the Grand Loop Road onto the North Rim Drive. And the trail stats are only 3/4 of a mile round trip for total elevation gain and loss of about 600 feet. So this trail is extremely steep. And because the trail is fairly short, the trail is pretty straightforward. It basically just switchbacks down the hill until you get to the top of the falls. Toward the beginning of the trail, you do get some distant views of the upper falls as you're making your way down. But it's also nice that you can visually see the river below you, so you get a good gauge of how much more you have to descend to reach your destination. But not only is the trail like ridiculously steep, it's also paved most of the way. But don't think that makes it wheelchair accessible, because that would be a terrible idea. Anyway, though, I do have a safety tip here, though. Because it's asphalt and it's really slick, if there's been any gravel that's been kicked on top, it can make it really slick if you step on it. So just keep watch of that, especially on your descent down. But when you finally make it down to the bottom of the canyon by the river and you make your way to the top of the falls, it's just wow. I mean, just take a look at this. Absolutely incredible. So my biggest gripe to this hike is how congested and crowded it gets. There's a reason why it's extremely popular. But on top of that, because the North Rim Drive is a one-way road and it cuts through the heart of several of the parking lots to these trailheads, it gets super congested and backed up through here because that is how it's laid out. Especially during midday, that you're likely going to be sitting in traffic and trying to find a parking spot. However, if you're going to be braving the traffic midday to do this hike, one of the things that you might get is that rainbow at the base of the falls. But regardless, even if you come morning or in the evening or during midday, it's well worth the effort. It's absolutely incredible. That is why this hike is rated the gold standard. Yeah, I've been really spoiled with viewpoints on top of waterfalls recently, but this was still incredible. And unfortunately, this is our last video on any hikes or boardwalks in the Yellowstone National Park, and we're moving on to my official review. So that's coming up next. But if you like this video, hit a like, hit a subscribe. See you in the next one.